Hi, welcome to the Quantity Surveying Studio. In this video, we'll be looking into the top 5 FIDIC clauses that every QS must understand and should always have in their mind while doing their quantity surveying tasks. So without further delay, let's move into this video. The first one is regarding variations and adjustments, which is clause 13. So this is mainly where the engineer will have the provisions to instruct changes, additions, omissions, substitutions, sequence adjustments, etc. So accordingly, the QS has to measure these additions or omissions and do the rate analysis using the contract rates or new rates. The contractual rates means there might be already some appendix wherein the items already existing for that project, the rates for these items is already available, maybe in the BOQ or the pricing schedule. Or else if it is completely a new item, then you have to do a completely new rate analysis to work out the new rates. The impact is mainly affecting the project cost and tender adjustment. So accordingly, the project cost will increase or decrease based on how you have arrived to these rates and how you have claimed these items. One example is like the BOQ will be having 100-meter drainage pipes. So as per the instructions from the engineer, some new area there might be requirement for putting some extra 50 meters, and depending upon that instruction, the QS will prepare a variation order. They will do the rate analysis. Since it is the BOQ, there is already this item available. The rates can be directly used for these extra 50 meters. So if you see in clause 13, variations and adjustment, these are some of the sub clauses. 13.1, right to vary, value engineering, variation procedures, payment in applicable currencies, provisional sums, day works, adjustment for changes in legislation, adjustment for changes in cost. So I'm not going into detail of each. You can just open the FIDIC, maybe Red Book, and go through these sub clauses. Next one is clause 20, which is regarding to the claims, disputes, and arbitration, where there are some procedures on how you should submit a claim. There are some time limit for this is around 28 days after becoming aware of this claims, and if you don't submit it within this time, you risk of losing the entitlement of getting that extra payment for these claims. The QS role obviously is to make a document substantiate how the claim has happened or how the delay has happened, due to what reasons, and what are your entitlement, your cost, extra cost that is involved for this extra claims. And all this needs to be maintained with strong background support, or else it can be easily rejected. An example can be delay in drawing approval. So as per the original program, few drawings must be approved within this time period, but then there might be a delay in getting the drawings approval, or accordingly the works will also get delayed, and the QS can submit the claims with the cost of idle labor and equipment due to this delay. So if you see the clause 20 subclauses, claims, disputes, and arbitration, we have the contractor's claim, appointment of the dispute adjudication board, failure to agree dispute to adjudication board. If any disagreements happen, some negotiations will happen. Sometimes this will be directed to the DAB, the dispute adjudication board, and accordingly there are different procedures for appointing it and how the final decision is made to close down that particular dispute. Obtaining the dispute adjudication board decision, amicable settlement, arbitration, and if at all there is no settlement happening for the dispute, it goes into arbitration. Again, how, what all are the procedures for arbitration, that is also mentioned under this subclause. Failure to comply with dispute adjudication board decision, expiry of dispute adjudication board's appointment. So all these sub clauses can be again gone through under the FIDIC Red Book. You just go through it. Next is the clause 14, which is contract price and payment. It defines the valuation of works, how you can claim for your works done, interim and final payments, advance payments, retentions. Every month you will have to get your payment certified by the consultant or the main contractor. So how you need to prepare the invoices for that, what all should be the backup documents, all these are coming under this clause. The employer must pay the certified amount within, again there is a timeline wherein the employer should be paying. That is also part of a delays. If at all the employer is not paying within that 28 days timeline, there are different clauses wherein you can get the interest for the delay days. The QS role again is to prepare the payment application according to the clauses and ensure the measured works and materials are included in these payment applications. The QS must be coordinating with the site team to understand what are the works that has been carried out in that particular month and make sure that everything is captured in your payments application that is prepared. Example again, contractor applies $1 million as a payment and the engineer will certify as 950,000 K. Accordingly, sometimes the engineer will verify if all the items claimed has been correct or not, and then they should pay that 950K within that due period. So this is clause 14. So again, clause 40 subclauses, contractor price, advance payments, how you can make the advance payment claim or the amend application for advance payment, application for interim payment certificates, schedule of payments, plant and materials intended for work, issue of interim payment certificates, payment, delayed payments, payment of retention money, some around 5% of money will be deducted as retention money, and how finally it can be paid once the project is completed, and all those is under this clause. Statement at completion, application of the final payment certificate, the final closing out, then the discharge, issue of payment, final payment certificate, cessation of employer's liability, currency of payments. All these are under this main clauses 14, contractor price and payment. Next one is the clause 8, commencement, delays and suspension. So here under this clause, it defines when is the start date of the project, when is the completion deadline, the EOT, extension of time rights if delay is not contractor's fault. Again, it includes suspension of work if instructed due to different various reasons. The QS role is to work with the planner to prove the cause of delay. Using the critical path analysis method, you can work out this delay and the prolongation cause can be worked out according to this critical path analysis. So again, example is site possession is delayed by 2 weeks. QS needs to claim for that 2 weeks extension of time press preliminaries because a lot of things are getting idle, and again due to this delay the completion date is also getting delayed. So that is not the problem of the contractor because site possession is the client's or the employer's duty to provide the site possession the correct time. So you, as a contractor, you can claim for the delays. So clause 8, commencement of delays and suspension, we have the subclauses, commencement of work, time for completion, program extension for time of completion, delayed cost by authorities, rate of progress, delay damages, suspension of work, consequences of suspension, payment of for plants and materials in event of suspension, prolonged suspension, resumption of work. So all these subclauses are under this clause 8. You can again go through it. Now the last and final one, which is important as a QS, would be the contractor's general obligation. So this clause will lay down the execution requirements, specification, safety, compliance that needs to be properly followed for completion of the project. So again, in design and build projects, the design responsibility will also be under the contractor, so that also will be mentioned. The QS role will be to check if what is the scope, whether it lies within the contractor or employer when evaluating claims. Example will be contractor claiming scaffolding for other trade as extra, but clause 4 will show that obligation is contractor. So providing scaffolding for all the works is part of the contractor. So the consultant might reject this claim because as per the contracts of general obligation, as per that scaffolding in general is their scope and it is their responsibility to provide the proper cost for the scaffolding works throughout the project. And if they are claiming it as additional, it is not right because they have already claimed it in there, or they have already priced it in their preliminaries for as scaffolding charges. The QS can reject this claim. If you see clause for a lot of subclauses, contractors, general obligation, performance security, contractors, representative, subcontractors, assignment of benefit and subcontract, cooperation, setting out safety procedures, quality assurance, site data, sufficiency of accepted contractor amount, unforeseeable physical conditions, rights of way and facilities, avoidance of interference, access route, transport of goods, contractors' equipment, protection of environment, electricity, water and gas, employers' equipment and free issue material, progress report, security of the site, contractors, operation on site, forces. Quick recap. The top 5 FIDIC clauses. Clause 13, 20, 14, 8 and 4. So 13 is variations and adjustments. 20 is claims, disputes and arbitration. 14 is contract price and payment. 8 is commencement, delays and suspension. And clause 4 is about contractor's obligation. I know this is not like a detailed video on this for 5 clauses. There's nothing to teach you or explain in detail. Just going through those subclauses, you can easily understand what each subclause means. I'm just pointing out which are the main subclauses, like the main clauses. As a QS, these are the main thing that you might be asked in an interview when you are applying for a contract administration or maybe a post-contract QS roles. It is an important for someone doing that role to know these basic clauses so that the interviewer is happy or the head of that project is happy that okay, this QS understands the basic clauses that is required to safeguard our risks as a main contractor for all the payments, all the variations, etc. So thanks a lot for watching this video. If you found it to be useful, do share it with your QS fraternity, QS friends, QS connections. Please do subscribe to QS Quantity Surveying Studio if you're not yet subscribed to it. Thank you. Bye.